An historic episode of The Notebook right now from the Horseshoe, the first playoff game, the December home game for Ohio State, and they just beat the tar out of Tennessee 42-17. Waiting for some of the interviews to wrap up in here. We're expecting to talk to maybe Chip Kelly, Jim Knowles, Will Howard, from just a remarkable performance, one of the best we've seen from Ohio State in quite some time. They've certainly won other big games. They beat 2 playoff teams already this season, but they did not handle them anywhere near the way that they did tonight against Tennessee, an SEC team coming north, a fan base that had 35,000 tickets. I don't know, a good amount, but they were all leaving for the exits in the third quarter because Ohio State just in complete control. The best version of Will Howard that you're going to see, the best version of the Ohio State offense that you're going to see, Chip Kelly, Ryan Day teaming up on a bunch of new looks, throwing the football to Jeremiah Smith, getting some counter action going involved. Like, we'll get into all of that as we roll along on the Notebook, because it was jam-packed. Even by the end of the first quarter, there was a ton of development going on there. But Ohio State, they have a little celebration in here, a presentation of a Rose Bowl, a bunch of roses and a Rose Bowl football, that they have won a first-round matchup, so they had a lot of pomp and circumstance for that. I'm not sure that Ryan Day really cared that much about that game ball, but he does care about the opportunity that is ahead of this team. They are going to get their rematch against Oregon. They always envisioned that they would be in the Rose Bowl. Now, they thought they were going to get there a different path, thought maybe they'd be the number 1 seed, the Big Ten champion. It didn't work out that way, but that's the opportunity is still ahead of them to go win a national championship. And if Ohio State plays the way they did tonight, they're going to be a tough out for anybody. We all know what happened in that game in Eugene, 1-point decision, and came down to the wire. They're the 2 best teams in the Big Ten and maybe the 2 best teams in the country. But you knew, I think, right away on this night, you watched Ohio State walk in to the Horseshoe, all business, different mentality. Maybe it was just because it was cold and their expressions were froze on their face, but I noticed that right away with Will Howard. There was no joking around. There was no looking around. Straightforward focus. And the Buckeyes, I mean, you put that in contrast with what happened 3 weeks ago in the stadium, and it's almost hard to imagine that they could play at a different level, at such a different level, the way that they did. But it was a remarkable performance all the way around. What more can you say about Jeremiah Smith, Will Howard, Caleb Downs? Thought that was the finest performance that Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau of their careers that they put together at the same time. So just really phenomenal stuff from those Buckeyes as they clinch their spot, earn their spot, send a message, I think, about where they can go into the next round here. They probably would have wanted to take on undefeated Oregon in a championship game or maybe the semifinal, but the Rose Bowl is going to be a great setting for that as well. So I guess we'll just dive right into the first quarter. Chip Kelly talking a lot of ball out there. They're talking about the adjustments in the offensive line. Great stuff from Luke Montgomery as he stepped in there to the lineup. All right, Chip's on the way, so we'll get him, walk down to the locker room with him as they come out. Longer press conference for the offensive coordinator than the head coach, I think. Once you get him rolling, talking about football, maybe we'll get some insight on that from him, because I'm curious which throw he thought was the best for Will Howard, because they were 2 of the best of the entire season for him, those balls to Jeremiah Smith. All right, here we go. I was going to steal some of Jim Knowles' pizza. Look at, they're just chatting away in here. Hey, Mike Bassford.
How are we doing?
He's got a rose as well.
That's the keys to my car. It was a black backpack, Nike backpack.
First thing that hasn't gone right tonight for Chip Kelly, a lost backpack.
Hey folks, I'm going to just, everyone could pause just for a moment. Did somebody pick up a wrong backpack? If you have a black backpack, can you please just make sure it's yours?
The case of the lost backpack in here at the press room.
Don't do that.
Who's stealing? Another member of the media has stolen Chip Kelly's backpack. This is the kind of stuff
Let's go ahead and finish up with
only
Jack
happens
Sawyer,
on the Notebook.
Donovan
I guess that explains why he was
Jackson,
taking so long in here.
Coach Knowles, Andy Andrews, 11 Warriors.
Will, which throw to Jeremiah was the better one?
The touchdown.
Oh, you think you're so funny, don't you? Oh man, we're gonna revisit this conversation. I need a lost backpack. Okay, did not expect that. Thrown for a loop here as we get into that. So Will Howard settling it himself. He thought the touchdown was the best one. They were both just ridiculous throws. The moment that it came out of his hand, you knew Jeremiah Smith was going to take advantage of that and make something happen. Jack Sawyer's coming. All right, we'll go with Jack as well. Yeah, right there. It's not lost. We can steal Jack's bag. Although he's pretty tough. Yeah, we'll have to ask why he didn't plant the flag. I mean, that would have been the great way to end his career here. He was unblockable. Tennessee had no answer for him. Chip, did you find your backpack?
I did not. I need to find the keys to my car. So.
Okay, well then I won't keep you for the notebook. I'll let you go find the keys to your car. We're going to stop this guy and say, I'm going to steal Jack's backpack. Yeah, well, Chip's got stolen. I don't want that to happen to you.
Chip's got stolen.
Yeah, it's lost in the media room. Hey, Berm said that he asked you to plant the flag. Why did you not plant the flag?
I took the Ohio against the world flag, and I ran around the stadium trying to do a lap, and then they came and grabbed me before I could get to the center. So,
oh, so you were going to try. All right.
I was just going to sit there to Ohio against the world flag. You know what I mean? But
let's go down here. I don't want to keep you too long.
Sure.
I mean, I know from the pain from 3 weeks ago to now, I mean, it feels like the emotions could not be any more different. What was it like to be in this locker room tonight, and especially with those seniors and the guys you spent 4 years with?
I mean, it was awesome, man. This is the way, we always envisioned it going out. God's got such a great plan for this team. And, we're still in him for fighting. That's the mantra coming in all week was, put the country on notice, playing a great team. What a great opportunity it is. And we did just that, and wouldn't want to have any other group of guys.
It feels like when we've watched you and JT over the last 4 years, like the second half of last season, you took off, your numbers are off the charts. JT's was maybe at the start of the year. It doesn't feel like over 4 years there's been a game quite like this where you both were just unblockable and producing, numbers, stats, impact. There it is.
Found it.
All right. This is what you two envisioned.
Right.
I mean, it's a good time for it.
Yeah, it's a great time for it. Last time in the shoe, first round of playoffs, never happened before. It was a great time for it. We knew what we've been capable of this whole time. And, this is the time that God wants to make us do it, and we did it.
All right. Where are your roses?
Huh?
Where are your roses?
I actually chewed one up coming in. I chewed it, it fell off. So
congrats.
I actually completely blocked. I had it blocked out. We were so focused on winning. When you said, I was like, gosh, Stan was right. But
I was hoping to try.
I know you were, Brian. I know you're trying to give me another tear in my eye.
Not going to do that. Congrats to Jack Sawyer. All right. I think JT's coming down. JT, you got two more seconds?
Yeah, let's do it.
Just ask Jack. Said it feels like over 4 years. You might be productive one night. Jack has a stretch at the end of the season maybe. It doesn't feel like it's ever lined up where the two of you are just producing at the way you were tonight. Is that fair?
Yeah, we've always talked about it, especially last year. I felt like I started off strong and finished the season a little slow, and he started off slow and finished the season strong. And that's one thing we talked about, coming back is pushing each other to the moments where it feels like we have to fight. And that just shows how much we love each other and how much we want out of each other. And I think this season has just shown how much we relied on that brotherhood, we relied on each other's friendship, and just continue to push each other along the way.
What does it feel like when you guys are both sort of in that mode?
At that point, it's who can get there first. I think after he got his sack, I wasn't in. He came on. We were talking about it, and Coach Jay was putting me in, and I was like, "Man, Jack will match you." He's like, "Man, go match it." And I think that just shows, like, that little story just shows like how much we challenge each other and how much we just want to see each other succeed.
Yeah. Who's your sidekick here?
It's my little brother. It's for his golf, so you guys be on the lookout for him.
Got to come hang out for a little, Christmas, little holidays, get a playoff game.
He got out of school. Mom never did that. I never missed this much school. He must be doing a lot better than I did in school,
All right, well,
yeah.
now you can take him to LA.
Yeah.
You've got some dance moves after sacks. Jack just flexes. Can you teach him how to dance?
One thing about Jack, when he dances, it's going to come out the right time. I think today he was in the moment. I'll give him that. But I'll for sure work with him on celebrations. But hey, flexing his thing, then keep it going,
All right, go celebrate with the rest of your family. Thanks for taking that time. JT Tuimoloau. Just some chewed up rose right here. Little artifact for the Buckeyes. I don't know who this belongs to. We'll pop it in the notebook for now, just a little decoration. How about that? I also don't really mind doing the notebook inside right now because it is freezing and it is after midnight. So we got to wait for Will Howard to ask about that. I need a better answer. First quarter. Vern, look at this. Has there been a quarter all season where I've written this much about 15 minutes of play? I don't think so. I barely wrote anything for the second quarter because it felt like it was over when it was 21-0. Jack capped that first quarter with a sack. You could give it to him. He tipped a ball on a third down. JT had that sack early on as Ohio State was already up 14-0. But give it to everybody, I suppose. I think that this was a complete program win. I don't know if Jim Knowles would agree with that or not.
I thought across the board, everybody was kicking ass.
How much do, coaches need a win like this, the catharsis maybe of, the last few weeks? And
I don't know that coaches need it, but you just want it for your players.
Right.
When you work with guys hand in hand, good guys, we got good people. And you want good things for them. I think we're like the number one defense in the country, but it's like rarely talked. It's like not talked about, which is a surprise to me. But
I tried to compliment you on Tuesday, and you wanted to fight me on it.
I know. Well, yeah. But when things come together for your guys who work hard and do every coach, right? Wherever you've been, your guys always work hard. But we're good, and it's just like, let's realize we're good, and everybody realize we're good, and let's go kick everybody's ass.
In your career, have you ever had to play a team twice in a season?
Yes, I did.
Was that the Big 12?
No, that was. I was just talking about that.
Okay.
Marshall, back in the day of like Byron Leftwich, I was at Western Michigan. We beat them during the regular season at third place. They had won 38 straight games. And then we had to go play the championship at third place, too.
Oh, how about that?
Thanks, folks.
Thanks, Jim. All right. So, like I was saying, I feel like, look, Ohio State's fan base was challenged by Tennessee. Add that to it. When I say complete program victory, like that's everybody. The fan base shows up. The athletic department changes some things about the presentation of the game. Brutus now has an entrance. Is that permanent? I don't know, but it was pretty cool. He went out and did a OHIO chant that got the people fired up. It was drowning out some of the Rocky Top. I don't know, how did it sound, Berm? It was good. Offense, defense, 90% of special teams. I don't know if I can go the full way there. There's still a little bit of issues there occasionally, but we'll set that aside. We'll forget about that for the moment. Trainers. Equipment managers, making sure that they can handle the elements tonight, like coaching staff with plans, not just Jim Knowles, not just Chip Kelly, Ryan Day cutting it loose. How many times have we talked about Georgia Ryan Day, Peach Bowl Ryan Day, original Ryan Day, the original recipe in the Fiesta Bowl, and going, taking shots on 4th and 1 and 2 and throwing to Chris Olave and not worrying about getting that on the ground or proving a point or whatever else that, whatever exists for that narrative. Like, they did that all. They had an opportunity early in the games, like 4th and 4, right? 4th and 4 to start the second quarter. Aggressive Ryan Day. That drive wound up being ended by a terrible pass interference call. Just absolutely horrific. And, I had people texting me that were watching the broadcast saying, well, Chris and Kirk didn't even mention it. They were just looking purely at the replay. Then they go, to get the explanation of could they overturn this call? And it's like, oh, by the way, they missed a blatant pass interference call. Berm took a photo where Jeremiah is just being bear hugged by the defensive back. Like it was ridiculous. And if that wasn't bad enough, they followed it up defensively. Davison Igbinosun jumps in the way of that pass from Nico, gets the interception, and they call Kenyatta Jackson for one of the worst roughing the passer penalties I think that I've seen. They did wind up holding Tennessee to a field goal there and make it 21-3, but it really shifted everything because at that point, Berm was saying when I got down to the field in the fourth quarter, it's like it should have been 50-0, and like it felt that way, and yet at halftime, because of the way the game flow got disrupted there, it was 21-10. And with an opportunity, because of the middle eight situation, Tennessee goes down the field at the end of the second quarter. They get the football back to start the second half. In the third quarter, Lathan Ransom shows up there. He puts a hit on a speed option, a third down situation. Buckeyes get off the field, and then the next one. And I wrote another word that shouldn't be in the notebook, I guess, but just an absolutely perfect throw to Jeremiah Smith. I think the way Will Howard anticipated it, I think Jeremiah was on the 14-yard line still when that ball was in the air. Tennessee had no shot of defending Jeremiah Smith. The ball placement was perfect. The route was perfect. The catch was perfect. It was phenomenal. Then they tack on Quinshawn Judkins touchdown there to make it 35-10. Jack Sawyer has another sack at the end of the third quarter, and then I just basically closed it. I finished working, on the instant snap judgment story, and there's what more can they say? Like that game was over. They had demoralized Tennessee. A bunch of those fans that had been in Knoxville texting me throughout the week, and including at 7 a.m. on Saturday morning, about how confident they were and how much money was pouring in on Tennessee and where they wanted to meet to have drinks after the Vols won the game. They were gone by the end of the third quarter.
Boys.
Hey, I could not leave without you.
Sorry, last time I was a little pissed off.
What do you mean? I don't care if you can be pissed off. I think your emotion is what feels great. Emotion and execution, right? What throw was better? Come on. First one?
Dude, the first one was pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was.
The first one was pretty sweet. And it was funny because if you watch it, JJ, I don't think sees the ball until the very end.
I thought that might be the case on the second one, too.
The second one, he was running full speed the whole time, but that first one, he was literally stopped running and then continued. It was pretty funny.
So I think those were your two best throws of the year. Would that be? Do they feel that way to you, or do you have another one that?
I don't know. There's been a couple.
I'm not saying that there weren't. I'm not saying there weren't others, but this was a playoff pressure. All right, he's up. Mike's got to do it. I got you. I got you. All right, fair enough. So do we. All right, we're not going outside. Berm, right? That's it. We do? No, we got a recorder up there, but we can just end it right here, right? I talked about the whole game. We did a bunch of interviews.
Yeah, we're good.
It's 42-17. All right. That's the end of the notebook. Ohio State is advancing to the Rose Bowl New Year's Day. I don't know what time it is yet. I guess I'll figure that out. We're going to get our credentials now. It's finally open. We get to book that travel and head out there for Ohio State and Oregon. The rematch in the quarterfinals. Another historic. Thanks for joining us on the notebook. Thanks to Berm for the camera work and bearing it out there in the cold. Chip Kelly, Jim Knowles, Jack Sawyer, JT Tuimoloau, Will Howard. What a night. What a crazy night in the Horseshoe. Buckeyes are winners, and we'll have a lot more content heading towards Christmas and then out in LA in the Rose Bowl. For the podcast on the notebook, I'm Austin Ward. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you later.